the expert level kickoff session for those who may be thinking that they want to become a Flosum certified expert, have taken the Flosum certified or have become a Flosum certified professional, or are thinking of either. This is just to give you a little bit of insight into what you're getting into and just help you get through the course faster when you decide to begin. So I'm actually going to kick this one off, and then I'll end up handing it over to Girish for more in-depth information. All right. So for the expert level certification course for Flosum's both courses, professional and expert level course, you can sign up by going to certification.flosum.com/sign-up or expert-sign-up. And enter your name and email in order to get started. Once Girish starts talking, I will go on and enter both of these links into the chat so that you can access them and save them for your own use. So the expert level in particular is for Salesforce admins, developers, release managers, architects, anyone in the DevOps space that, has a little more experience and is able to get through a little bit more of a rigorous course. This is going to include a lot of hands-on activity, setup and installation, configuring the Flosum solution itself, reference architecture, go into branching strategy, and just review a lot of the other parts of Flosum that provide value to you. So in order to register, once you sign up on those links that I'm going to end up entering into the chat, you enter your name and email, and it won't accept a personal email, only corporate emails, but you always can log in at any point to change the email attached to the account. You will be given a referral link on the next page after you sign up, and you will need to refer 3 colleagues using the referral link. You can copy and paste it into an email. You can share it on social media, but whatever, method you choose, then once the 3 colleagues click your link and sign up themselves, you'll receive an email that gives you a link to log in and actually access the course. So you should already have a login from the first level of certification, which is the professional level, and it's the prerequisite to the more involved expert level. So if you have not gotten the professional level first, in order to actually get into an org and work your way through, you will need to take the professional level course first, which is just a 1.5 to 2 hour long course, and it's a demo, and it involves a quiz at the end also. So the course itself begins on module 1 for expert level course. You'll be asked to create an org, and then you can use that org to follow the directions given in the rest of the modules. That org expires within 2 weeks, so you just need to be sure to finish your course content within that time frame. If you have any questions throughout those 2 weeks, you can always email certification@flosum.com or use the small question pop-up that we have in the lower left right-hand corner, actually, of any of the modules. So that will be helpful if you have any questions. And then once you reach the end of the expert level course, on module 11, I believe it is, you'll see a button that you can use to take the quiz. So you can feel free to review the modules as much as you'd like before taking the quiz. And depending on how long you take to finish the modules, we actually recommend that. But once you start the quiz, you click Start Quiz, the timer will begin, and you have 90 minutes to complete the quiz. So just be sure that you're prepared and ready before you begin the quiz, because you won't be able to unclick on that link once you start it. There is a passing criteria of 80% or higher on the course quiz. So, this course is a little bit more rigorous than the one, the professional level. So it's always great to kind of get the professional level under your belt first and then move on to this afterwards. That's why we make it a prerequisite. Anyway, that is the majority of how to register and, the kind of overview, the logistics of the expert level course. But now I'm actually going to bring on Girish to go into more detail about some of the modules themselves, some of the terminology, the things that you are going to come across when you're actually taking the course.
Great, awesome. Thanks, Ellie. So, like Haley mentioned, the purpose of the professional level certification is so that you get a good overview of the Flosum solution, the breadth and of the Flosum solution so that you can talk about the Flosum solution. The purpose of the expert level certification is that you try everything hands-on, whatever you have learned in the professional level certification. So this is to get access to the software, you set up everything, and you do everything hands-on. So these are the various modules that are in the professional level certification. So the first is setups. Everything that I'm going to show today is actually already documented in the certification. So you don't have to write down anything. Everything is really well documented in the expert level certification. So the first is on the setups, where you get access to the Flosum solution, you create different sandboxes, you connect sandboxes. I'm going to walk you through some of those things. I will be spending a lot of time here. Um, and then there's a data migrator solution as well. So if you want to migrate Salesforce CPQ data, or if you have an Encino application, you can use data migrator for migrating that data. This is the bulk of the course, the entire end-to-end application development flow. So after you have done the basic setups, you will walk through the application development flow. So this is a complete life cycle of the Flosum solution from a DevOps perspective. This will what will take you. This is a lot of content and may take you some time. And then we'll walk you through some of the admin tools that we have. We'll walk you through testing, various testing strategies that are supported within Flosum. So whether that's Apex testing, Selenium testing, Lightning Test Service, everything is documented here. There's a focus on compliance and governance. We talk about all the integrations, how you can choose a DevOps solution. If you want to use Salesforce DX, how you can adopt Salesforce DX. And then the last piece is, why was native version control solution built? So these are some of the things that are part of the expert level certification. And you have to have understanding of all of them before you take the quiz, because there are questions from almost every one of these sections. Haley, we can move on to the next slide. So I want to talk about some of the things which throw some people off. So just a quick touch base on some of the terms. So I want to talk about what are snapshots, what are branches, and what is a pull request. So snapshots is basically a way to pull changes from your development sandbox into Flosum. So whenever you're making a change to a development sandbox, we can pull that in using snapshots. You can either do it on on-demand basis, or you can do it on a scheduled basis. It's your choice, but that is what snapshot does. Branches are actually multiple things within Flosum. So if you're familiar with version control, you can create various kinds of branches within Flosum. You can create a feature branch, or you can create an integration branch within Flosum. So you have branches, you can do deployment from branches. It'll also help you keep the code synchronized between various orgs. And so branches are the heart of Flosum, and a lot of functionality happens within branches. Pull request is a way, it's a standard term that's used. It's a way to start doing a code review request. And once the code review request is approved by your team members, you can set up those policies and those gates within Flosum. Once it's approved within Flosum, then someone will actually, you can actually integrate it, or you can integrate your branch with someone else's branch, and you can deploy it to the target environments. So that's the purpose of pull requests within Flosum. So now what we'll do is we have some time. We have 20 minutes. So what I'll do is, in the interest of time, I'll get you started on how to set up your Flosum solution very quickly. We have only 20 minutes. A typical certification, if you go through it at a good speed, not at a great speed, just at an average speed or even below average speed, it should take you no more than 1 day to do it. One of our team members recently did that course. The team member did not have admin certification, or consider them to be like a business analyst or citizen developer, but they were able to finish the whole expert level certification in 8 hours. So you can do this much faster if you know Salesforce, if you're a developer, if you have proficient admin, you can get this done very quickly. So I'm going to walk you through a lot of things in the next 20 minutes on how you can do progress a lot within the Flosum solution. So with that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to share my screen and walk you through some of the basic setups and go from there. Okay. Haley, can you see my screen?
Yes, I can see great.
Okay, cool. So this is a Flosum org. So once you get access to the Flosum org, you log into the Flosum org. The first thing is you would do is you would go to the settings tab and you would do this, what we call as a connected app name. So let's say if I'm working for Microsoft, I could call my name as, let's say Microsoft Flosum installation, and I would hit on create. So all you have to do is give a name, do not use space, do not use any numbers here. That's about it. So you just enter a string and you can do and hit create. After you hit create, you would have to wait for 10 minutes because that is how Salesforce works. And after that, you can start with the regular work within setting up Flosum. So this is required to set up a connected app. We have automated as much process as we could. The rest of it needs to be done. So once that is done, we have created a connected app. Then you would go under the orgs tab and you would register the various orgs. So what you would do is to create an org, you would click on new. And once you click on new, it'll ask you for the org name and it'll ask you for what is the type of the org. Is there a sandbox? Is it a production org? And stuff like that. So once you set that up, it'll take you to a standard Salesforce login page. So this is where you would enter org name. You would enter what is the authentication type. So leave this as automatic and enter whether that's a production org or that's a sandbox. So if you're using login.salesforce.com, use production org. If you're using test.salesforce.com, make it to sandbox. Change this to sandbox. And then after I hit authorize, it's going to take me to a standard Salesforce login page. I can put my username and password there. And then that app, that particular org will get connected into the Flosum solution. So it literally takes 10 to 15 minutes, 10 to 15 seconds to connect an org within Flosum. You can register as many orgs as required, and everything is documented really well in the expert level certification. So once you do this, then what we do is we create a snapshot within Flosum. So what we do is we need to pull the changes from your development sandbox. So what I would do is I would hit on create snapshot, and you can enter various parameters. So let's say I'm working on a cool feature one. I could put my details on feature one. I could enter terms like what are the component types that I want. And I can select all those here, whatever parameters I want. And here I would say retrieve the changes for the last 14 days, last 30 days, whatever is required. So I can, this will pull the changes from the org. Now, as specified here, if you enter a component type here, the retrieval will be much faster. There are many ways to pull changes from your development sandbox into Flosum. This is one of the ways to do it. And we are not describing all the ways in Flosum certification to contain the scope of it, but this is something you could do. So once you create a snapshot, it's going to look like this, where you would see all the changes that have come. So I can see that Jason Smith had made some changes. The changes are to the following components. These are the component types. I have retrieved them via snapshot. Once you retrieve them via snapshot, then what you could do is you can commit them to a branch within Flosum. So I would hit on commit to a branch, and I can select the components that I want. In this case, we have only 3 components, but if you have like 50 components or thousands of components, I would just enter a string here, and it would automatically just show me those components which match that string. So now what we have done is, we created the connected app in the settings tab. We registered the orgs in Flosum. So whatever orgs that you wanted, dev1, dev2, QA, production orgs, you registered them. And then you created a snapshot from your development sandboxes, and then you created a snapshot to pull the changes in. Once you pull the changes, you're committing those changes to a branch within Flosum. So when you commit changes to a branch within Flosum, it is going to look like this, something like this, where you would see these are all the components which are committed, component type, and you can see here, this is the first version of the components. What would happen is then Flosum will automatically start a code quality scan. And this is where you would see all the code quality changes for the changes that you have done. So let's say if you have changes done for, if you have any Apex class and you would see, it'll find out all the security issues, performance code quality issues in your Apex class and would show them here. If I drill here, it's going to show me a detailed graph of what are the specific code quality issues. So for example, if I have a SQL statement inside a for loop, I would, this code quality scan would catch that. So you would see that here. Once this is done, then you can request other team members to review the code. So to do that, what I would do is I would initiate a pull request. So with pull request, I can, let's say, if I have a team of 5 team members, or actually 50 team members, you can select certain people within your organization to be the code reviewers. So the team, they can be the reviewers. And you can say that before the changes are promoted forward, it has to be reviewed by at least 2 team members. So here, when a pull request is created, it would look something like this. So I can see all the high level details of the story. In this case, I can see the request has gone to 3 people, out of which 1 has approved the change, 2 people are still reviewing the change. And I can see all the component types that are here. So what I'm seeing here is most of the component types are new, so they are very safe if they are deployed somewhere, but some of the component types are different. So I can drill down and I can see side-by-side differences between the 2 versions of the components. I'm not going to do that here in the interest of time because we have only 20 minutes to complete the whole scope. But you would see side-by-side changes. And then let's say if I have to give feedback on this particular Apex class, and if I have to go to on line number 43 and enter my comments, you can do it. You can do commenting in line within the Apex class itself. So you would see that here. Right? Once that is done, I can either approve the request or I can reject the request, and the users can move forward. So after that is done, then what I can do within Flosum is I can use what is called as a deployment analyzer. So this is where Flosum can automatically find issues in your code and help you fix those issues. What happens is in Salesforce, when you're deploying code, many times the deployment has to be iterative process. Let's say if you're deploying 50 components, Salesforce will show you first 5 errors and then it'll stop. And then if you fix those 5 issues, then it'll show the next 7 errors. You fix the next 7 errors, and then it'll show you the next 3 errors. So that takes a lot of time. And an operation with that should take few minutes ends up taking 3 to 4 hours. So what we have done is within Flosum, we automatically find out all the issues at once, and we will show you all the issues at once. So in this case, what I'm seeing is it's telling me that for this particular layout, for this particular record type, there is this field which is reference, but this field doesn't exist in the target org. So if I deploy it, my deployment will fail. So we find out all such issues and we'll show you all such issues. And if I click on this button, Flosum will fix the code for me and will remove the dependency for that particular issue. Right. So this is how Flosum can automatically help you fix those things. I would also encourage you to look at what we call as impact analysis functionality. So the purpose of this is before deploying, you will get a visual view of what changes are being deployed and what will the impact of those changes. And then if you want to merge the changes with what is being deployed, so let's say I'm deploying a class which has like 50 lines, and the same class exists on the target org, but it has 2 extra lines that are not in my code because my code is not synchronized. I can pull those 2 lines and put it in my code and then deploy it. That will ensure that your code will not be overwritten. You can also do a dependency check here and make sure that none of the dependent components are missing. So this can either look into your source org or it can look into your target org, whatever you choose, and you can deploy that. and it'll help you find those issues. There is also a functionality of pipelines. I'm not going to cover that in the interest of time. And then once you're done, after doing all that, you can deploy the changes from here. You can validate the changes from here. And after deployment, you can even roll back the changes from here. So you can do all the operations from here. You can also merge multiple branches. So let's say if you have two different users working on two different user stories, you want to create an integration branch, you can create an integration branch from here. And it's just a couple of clicks. It doesn't take too long. I would highly encourage you to experiment with this as well. So that completes a high-level overview of the DevOps piece. In the expert level certification, there's a lot more content in terms of like testing, how we can do Selenium testing, how we can do data migration. There's a lot more content in the expert level certification as well. That is not being covered here. That is really well documented. And when you get a new org for Flosum, most of the setups are done for you. So let's say for data migration, you would need a sequence, you would need data in certain objects, and you need data sets to be created. We have created all of that for you. So you would know how it works. So all the setups are done for you. So you're not spending time in creating sequences or creating data within objects and stuff like that. Your focus is more on learning Flosum in the shortest amount of time. With that, I'm going to stop and see if there are any questions from others.
Okay, yes. So we actually did have a couple questions. The first one is, we got a question about when the course begins. And actually, this could be a little bit confusing, so I'm just going to go over it really quickly. The professional level course has, specified dates where it runs. It's in a webinar format, and it runs for an hour and a half to 2 hours. So that one is scheduled. And so you'll need to register for a specific date that works for you for the professional level course. But the expert level course is actually self-paced, and you can actually, Girish is pulling up the modules right now on his screen. You run through each of the modules at your own pace. You just have to worry about the org expiration date, which is about 2 weeks. Now, the next question that we had was, can the trial org expiration date be extended? Girish, do you want to take that one?
Yeah, it can be extended on certain cases. So if you really want to do it, it doesn't take too long. If you start, you can literally do an entire end-to-end. We have folks. So one of the things we do is, as part of the interview process, we ask people to go through expert level certification, set up Flosum, and show it to us in a very short amount of time. And that is one of the ways we figure out if they can do everything very quickly. So they don't get a lot of time to do it. And we have seen this time and again that it can be done. The whole Flosum installation, understanding of Flosum can be done in a really short amount of time, in no more than 1 or 2 days, but you have full 2 weeks to do the certification. In case if you want to extend it, reach out to certification at flosum.com to request for an extension.
Awesome. Okay. And we have another question about how to begin the course. So right in the chat, I have sent to all attendees how to sign up for the professional level course and the expert level course. Those 2 links are there, so be sure to copy those down. You can also go to flosum.com/certification. And that's actually just on our homepage, and then it's right in the menu at the very top of the menu. So that's pretty easy to locate. That can also lead you to the sign up pages for both courses. Okay, we have another question. What if I got my referrals but didn't start the expert level course right away? Will the access to the portal and modules go away or expire? So this will not happen. Once you get access to the expert level course, you will have access for life, basically. You can take as long as you need in order to begin the course. But once you create that trial org, that is when you have to worry about the expiration date.